Peace Collective, let's get into the daily collective energy. This is the part of the story where your enemies start being nice to you. Okay? Let's just say they realize that they can't keep uh, attacking you or even try to destiny swap with you because it's not working. The first card that came out was Two of Wands. Okay. Now, this is talking about decision making right now. And I feel like this is actually speaking to opposition, those who have placed themselves in an enemy role to you to not see you succeed. Okay. I feel like they are facing the hard truth. There's an ultimatum I feel that is being uh, given to them, right? They're having to sit down and look at what they have done, their dirty deeds. And the more that any soul, any being decides to live and operate out of degradation, okay, the more that they are going to have to clean up. And there's been a lot of energy in the collective for those who have ultimately followed their heart essence, the divine spark within. Okay. And opposition has tricked other beings, okay, to be part of a gang stalking energy. And they didn't realize, truly, some of them, what they were getting into, okay, what they were doing, and what was the price that they were going to have to pay. They were led to believe that this is where they could take blessings and they can destiny swap and they can come up off of somebody else's energy, okay, and right now spirit is letting them know, no, this is a come off of somebody's energy, come off the pathways that belong to them, stop blocking them, because they're going to need, they're going to be made, excuse me, not need, they're going to be made to clean up the mess that they made, okay. And if they decide to stay in an adversary energy to you, bigger the hole that they're digging themselves into, and that cannot be stopped. They need to clean up their mistakes. They need to clean up their actions, their behaviors, and ultimately realign with the heart within. Okay. And I knew before I even went to do this daily reading that the message was, this is the part of the story where your enemies now have to be nice to you, where they start being nice to you, because this is where we're at. There's no longer you dimming your light or even any oppositional type of energy trying to dim your light. They can't. They can't siphon that energy off of you anymore. And the next card makes that very clear. Okay. We have the Ace of Cups. To me, this is speaking to an overflow, a overpouring from the divine, right? Where you have your cup, but your cup's not half full. It's not half empty. It's not a quarter empty. It is, or even a quarter full. What this is talking about now, the Ace of Cups, is this overwhelming, excuse me, overflow in your life that has been protected and being ushered in by the divine. Okay. This overflow feels like there's such a deep gratitude to it because, from speaking from my experience, right? And I know other empaths and other beautiful beings who've been on their soul journey. It has been uh, it has been a harrowing journey, but it's been very treacherous. It's been overwhelming with spiritual attacks, not even knowing if it was going to end or not. You know, just knowing that ultimately we were doing the best that we could, holding on when we felt like we were drowning. We didn't know if it was going to get better in this lifetime or if we just had to hold on to hope and sit here and say, hey, maybe the next life will be better. But that's not how life is meant to go. Not for those that are true in heart, in essence, who ultimately align with the the energy of divinity, who are ultimately looking to live a pure life and honor God in their life, honor the creator in everything that they, excuse me, that they do. And so this wonderful and beautiful overflow of the divine is hard earned, and it's coming on time and divine timing for every single being in their life. However, that plays out to you specifically, that's how it's going to play out for you specifically. But understand that there could be dreams that people are having where now opposition, those who made themselves enemies to you, are now trying to be nice to you or pretending to be, right? And we got the Seven of Swords. They thought that they could get away with something. And I feel like just because they're but they've been given an ultimatum doesn't mean that their actions are 100% pure. So understand, if someone is trying to give you something, question it. You don't have to take everything that's being offered to you, okay? I do feel that there is some sneaky agenda, some hidden agenda of, well, maybe I can pretend to be nice and still sneak onto the pathways where she's going. I can still take some of her blessings. Absolutely not. We see, okay? Me and the divine and whoever else is, working with the divine to see the truth of these manipulators and narcissists and those that are ultimately trying to do gang stalking energy. They're being afforded an opportunity to change these ways. But if they choose to sit in the seat of the seat, the experiences that they will experience is not one that I would want to claim on any man, any woman. Okay? The children are protected. They cannot keep throwing children on the scene to try to get empaths and those that are spiritually gifted to give of themselves for these children. The children are protected. We see the tactics that they are using, the tactics that they are playing with, and is not working. If they want to stay in that energy, the next card that came out was a devil. They are in chains, okay? They are bound to the karmas of their actions. They cannot get away with it, okay? The Two of Wands above the the devil, where the divine is giving them ultimatum type of energy. At the end of the day, they're still going to need to clean up the actions that they've put out onto the collective and onto those that were, those that are meant to rise, not were, those that are meant to rise to the occasion of their life and be put on the platforms that were meant for them. Okay? And for the devil to come out, this is speaking to them honestly having to battle the parasites that they thought had their back. Them having to battle the parasites that they thought was going to give them something. But with much respect, they were just tricked into it. They didn't know how deep this energy really goes. And now they're bound in shackles and they have to pay for their sins. And now this is more clearing that they're making for their ancestors, more work for those that are in heart alignment in their bloodline. See, I don't think people really realize how deep this goes, and the actions that we make and the actions that we make in life do affect those on the other side. Are you helping your bloodline rise, okay, in consciousness? Because this is a collective journey. They don't know what they're messing with, but they are bound, and they are bound to timelines, okay, that they can't get out of. The divine is coming in and moving right now. And I know everybody's been hearing about these timeline shifts. This is about people orienting to ultimately what they're meant to experience. And opposition is bound and they can't do nothing about it. But guess what? They're going to have to sit here and see you become the star. Okay? The star that they did not want to see rise up in you. Oh, she's rising. And they can't do nothing to stop it. And they can't hide from it either. And again, some will try to be very nice to you. You see the fingers? Nice. They'll try to be nice to you to see what they can get from you, or, oh, let me show her or him for whoever this reading is applying to, that have changed, but in all reality, they'll still take their little shots at you. They'll try to delay things, but they can't. So just be wise, all right? In this season where now this is the part of the story that your enemies need to, or that your enemies start being nice to you, be wise in that because they were never truly for you. So whatever you engage in, understand that you're engaging with it if you so choose. Now, the last card I think is probably going to be one of my favorites. No, I mean I have three good cards here that I like. The next one is the King of Pentacles. 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 This is manifestations of your wildest dreams, okay? Um, allowing yourself to receive, okay? Because the star being that very feminine energy where she's tending to her garden and the light is shining and it's going all well. Well, here goes the divine feminine, that energy within the soul, showing up and showing out and making sure that because you're shining your light, you are getting paid for it. You're living an easier life. You're living a life that brings you peace, a life for some of luxury. It really, depends on what you've earned. But this is where financial security comes in. This is where you get to experience the fruits of your labor. This is where you get to say, man, everything I went through was worth it. I don't know if it depends on how difficult your life was. If you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna do that one again. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. Not me. Not I. I wouldn't do this life over again. But that's not the choice that I can ultimately make from this human consciousness. But this is where you get to enjoy your mental space. This is that reclaiming of self happens, and you can see authentically what being yourself bears fruit. Excuse me, how being yourself bears fruit. This is the point in the story where you become the visible hero of your bloodline. This is the point in the story where you can see the tricks of others and not engage with it. You are so protected in this stage of your life. In this part of the story, this is where you get to know God truly. See, you've known God in your stages of hurt and pain and trauma, but now this is knowing God on God's turfs and God's timelines for you. The good that you were meant to experience. This is knowing God like you were meant to know God in this lifetime. Because you chose your soul's growth, and now your soul's growth is choosing you. Divinity is choosing you. You've been called to a table that many do not sit. They don't have the qualifications to sit at your table. They haven't seen the scars that you have seen. They haven't experienced the traumas that you have experienced or the attacks that you have experienced. Now this is the time where you see God show out for God's favorites. All right, and maybe God doesn't have no favorites, but it sounded good. No, I've I live my life ultimately wanting to please the Creator. You can call me a teacher's pet. Without a shadow of a doubt, I want to be the best version of myself. And I want to encourage others to be the best versions of themselves. And I want to sit here and acknowledge the hurt that you've been through, the hardships that you've been through. And even for those who don't see a way out, is call upon God. Because now is the season for those that done a lot of work for the collective, that the collective does not, that the collective is not aware of the work that these particular individuals put in. It is time for the way showers and pathway bringers to be known and to rejoice in their lives and to be paid a repayment, and for some tenfold of what they try to take from you, because you were not meant to experience the battles that you've had to endure. This is a powerful message. Know that if there's still life, there's still hope. And that's what I'm going to leave it at now. If y'all are curious about the services that me and the divine offer, you can go to www.mamarain.org. That is mama, MAMA, rain, like rain that falls from the sky and nourishes the land.org. All right, y'all. I'm happy. I feel like this is the season where your rewards are coming in and opposition has to let go. Ashe.